1, 2, check 1, 2. We're back, darlings. This is capitalism. This right here. This bag of little snacks, delicious snacks that come from so many different places around the world that it's mind-boggling, but you don't think about it. You just reach your hand into the bag and you eat some. And you look at the price that you paid. It wasn't much. You got a good deal. This is actually from one of the more decent stores you could get it from, sure. But just let me read to you just the number of different places that this bag comes from. Australia, Benin, Bolivia, Brazil, Burkina Faso, Cambodia, Ghana, Guatemala, Guinea-Bissau, India, Indonesia, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Malawi, Mexico, Mozambique, Nigeria, Peru, South Africa, Tanzania, Togo, the USA, and Vietnam. And now it's just in a bag in Harlem. And just for me, just for my consumption, just for my household to snack on. But what did it take for the contents of this bag to get here? What did it take? That's what we don't think about. We don't think about our complicity. Right? We don't think about what it took for all of this to get here. Honestly, reading that list, it's giving Animaniacs, okay? It's giving Wacko's recitation of every single country on the planet. And these were picked by people, I'm sure. Look, if the amount I paid for this, everyone who was involved had to get a piece, it wouldn't even be a cent, right? And that's what capitalism looks like. That's what our system looks like. That's what our complicity looks like in real time, in real life. And we don't even notice it, right? We don't even notice that we have become petty lordlings, ordering, get me the finest Brazil nuts from Brazil. Get me the finest pecans from Mozambique. I will only have the ones from Mozambique. Like the number of different places that they collected all these things and then packaged them here, right? We are complicit every single day. And that is why I say that we have to change, if anything is to change. People say things like, all the time, well-meaning people, and I know where they're coming from when they say it. My one little straw doesn't matter because Taylor Swift is taking her billionaire jet everywhere. But it's not about your one straw. This is a group project. This is a group project. Everything on this planet is a group project, right? Yes, it is the fault of capitalism and the billionaires, but we're downstream of that. We are part of that. Everyone seems to be looking for reasons as to why they are not responsible. And that is one of the biggest things that happens in our society. It's especially a thing for, white boomers. Don't at me, because we all know it's true if we've dealt with any of them. Boomers writ large, straight up. But also not just them, right? Because it's worse to call someone out on something than whatever it is that they did. And when you call someone out on something, the conversation usually becomes about how they feel about you calling them out, not about what they actually did, the actual harm they are causing or contributing to. Right? Because, yes, I'm going to continue to eat these delicious mixed nuts. Of course I am. Right? But I'm not going to defend that choice. There's a yes and to it all when you live in a world this shitty. Right? It's not don't blame me because of this. It's I know. And I'm trying to make better choices in every way that I can. But some choices I just have to make because it's what I can afford. It's what is available. And that, my friends, is where there is no ethical consumption under capitalism should come into play in your mind. Not as an excuse for doing anything, but as a reason as to why just about everything you do is fraught. Right? Being able to take blame without reproach, I swear, is a skill that would turn this world around in a heartbeat. And so few people have it, right? This little bag shows you what our world is worth, what capitalism is worth. And you know what I have to say about that? It's not even worth these nuts.
I just think at some point, we have to acknowledge that sometimes the sense of impending doom is because the doom is impending.
A great wagon. When I see your face, the stone starts spinning. You appear, all studying wanders. I lose my place. Water turns pearly. Fire dies down and doesn't destroy. In your presence, I don't want what I thought I wanted, those 3 little hanging lamps. Inside your face, the ancient manuscripts seem like rusty mirrors. You breathe, new shapes appear, and the music of a desire as widespread as spring begins to move like a great wagon. Drive slowly. Some of us walking alongside are lame. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened, don't open the door to the study, and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill, where the 2 worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. I would love to kiss you. The price of kissing is your life. Now my loving is running toward my life, shouting, "What a bargain! Let's buy it!" Daylight, full of small dancing particles. And the one great turning, our souls are dancing with you. Without feet, they dance. Can you see them when I whisper in your ear? They try to say what you are, spiritual or sexual. They wonder about Solomon and all his wives. In the body of the world, they say, there is a soul, and you are that. But we have ways within each other that will never be said by anyone. Come to the orchard in spring. There's light and wine and sweethearts in the pomegranate flowers. If you do not come, these do not matter. If you do come, these do not matter. A Great Wagon by Jalaluddin Rumi.
I don't give a fuck about looking cringe because I don't give a fuck about what a bitch gotta say about me, bitch. You bitches are boring.
Just watch this.
Amongst the thousands of products made from hemp, one of the most extraordinary is Henry Ford's plastic car. Built in 1941, it contained cellulose fibers.
This system has limited our imagination so bad. It is not utopian to think we can and should be doing way better than we are, because the technology is not only there, like there's stuff that they're paying for us not to use. And this is not crazy conspiracy shit. Like I looked this up. This is a real thing that existed that Ford just buried. We are governed by psychopaths. Our way of life is not the best way of life. We are governed by some of the most villainous people ever to walk the earth. We deserve better and we can have better.
Well, folks, we are officially entering eclipse season, so strap in, strap on, whatever you like, because a solar eclipse in Leo is coming up on Wednesday. But first, let's take a look at what's happening in the skies today and tomorrow, which are full of personal planet transits, making things a bit more personal. What did you think I was going to say? It's Monday, August 10th, and the planet Venus is doing two noteworthy things today. It's sliding to 4 degrees of Libra, and we have so much shit going on right now at 4 degrees because of the slow outer planets that are hanging out there. So Venus will make a trine to Pluto in Aquarius and an opposition to Neptune in Aries. Spoiler, the Pluto trine is the nicer of these two transits. This invites depth, empowerment, and radical honesty into our values, our relationships, our resources, our creative projects. But a Venus opposition to Neptune is trickier. This could definitely be dysregulating and upset your internal balance, if you have any left at this point, leaving you feeling a bit foggy and clouded, so we might be more susceptible to illusions and delusions around those Venus topics I just mentioned. So all in all, not a great time to make any big moves or decisions in your relationships or your finances. But it could be a good time for some shadow work, some spiritual connection, some reflecting on your values and priorities, creating some dreamy and powerful art, and just engaging with others in real empathetic ways. Then tomorrow, Tuesday, August 11th, a few more things happen. First, Mars moves into the sign of Cancer through the end of September. Now, cozy, feelsy Cancer is maybe a bit of an odd place for the warrior planet Mars to be, but it tells us that it's time to direct our courage at least partially inward, towards feeling and actually dealing with our emotions, which is especially important during a fucking eclipse week. Maybe we're acting more locally with our close communities, our families, and domestic spaces. Mars in Cancer really activates the desire to protect and defend what we love most. Our loved ones, the land we live on. So let's use this energy for good. Shortly thereafter, the moon leaves Cancer for expressive, vibrant Leo, getting ready for that eclipse. And then tomorrow evening, Mercury will move to 4 degrees of Leo, making the inverse of those two Venus transits from the day before. First, Mercury will oppose Pluto in Aquarius, so this could be a bit of a challenging dark moment on a mental level, but it's good for intentional shadow work and facing difficult truths. Then Mercury will make a trine to Neptune in Aries, easing some of that tension with a nice flow of creative vision, dreamy imagination, boundless compassion, and spiritual connection. You gotta love it. And then finally, Venus will inch closer to 5 degrees of Libra, making a trine to Uranus in Gemini. So as we continue processing whatever's come up for us on a relational level, Uranus will bring a hit of wild, rebellious, innovative, authentic energy. Whew, that was just Monday and Tuesday. Stay tuned for more.
It is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Miyamoto Musashi, The Book of Five Rings.
Joe Biden is ill and I'm supposed to feel bad about it. George Zimmerman is now struggling with homelessness and is having a real hard time, and it's 2.5 million in debt. And I'm supposed to feel bad about it. I'm supposed to be kind and forgiving and turn the other cheek. Why? Who does that help? Doesn't help me. Doesn't help anyone who is in prison because of the crime bill. Doesn't help anyone in the Swana region who is putting out the flames on their children's backs. Doesn't help Trayvon Martin. Does it? Who does it help? Who is it for? Right? All of us say that this is not a Christian country. But yet, all day, every day, we're turning the other cheek against people who have done grotesque harm. Not just a little harm, but grotesque harm. Every American president is guilty of crimes that would shock, as Frederick Douglass said, crimes that would shock a nation of savages. There is no nation more brutal than the one in which you currently sit. Right? Zimmerman should have taken the money that he got from selling the weapon that he used to kill Trayvon Martin in the street for no reason. It was $250,000, by the way. Someone was willing to buy a literal relic of hatred and racism and supremacy for $250,000. He got a different offer before that and then turned it down for the higher one. $250,000. Now, I bet if you or I got that kind of money, we wouldn't have money problems for the rest of our natural lives. Right? But poor George is having a time, and I'm supposed to feel bad about it. I'm supposed to be kind to everyone. Right? I'm supposed to say, well, he did horrible things, but he's someone's father, brother, uncle. And I should be kind. I shouldn't carry hatred in my heart. Fuck that. Have you heard of the paradox of tolerance? I'm going to explain it very briefly. The paradox of tolerance is that you should and must be kind and tolerant endlessly of everyone except for those who make kindness and tolerance impossible on a larger scale. Right? So, to everyone, you can disagree vociferously, viciously, right? But if they're not doing anything to actually cause harm, you should be kind to them. You should understand that also they are in your class. They are essentially in the same struggle as you. Right? No matter how much you disagree, no matter how much you dislike them, you don't have to be friends with them, right? But you should be kind to them, tolerant of them. But where that ends is that when you have somebody who is preaching hatred, who is doing hatred, who is causing harm, who's taking lives, who's leading genocide, for example, who is killing unarmed people in the street because they happen to have the wrong skin color. This was a kid that he shot after being told not to pursue them by the police. After maybe even using a slur on the phone. It's hard to hear in the recording. Right? And then became famous, became something of a hero in certain circles because of this murder. And I'm supposed to feel bad that he is now homeless and struggling. I don't. In fact, I wish worse for him. I wish the worst for those that do the worst. And I think we should do more of that. I don't think we should be looking at people like Sam Altman and Bezos and Musk and thinking kindly of them. Why? They're doing civilizational level harm every day. I'm not a Christian. I never signed up for that. I never signed up for turning the other cheek. I never signed up for being meek and obsequious in the face of evil. I did not sign up for that. My deities, my connection to the earth, to the universe, does not tell me that. It tells me that I am part of the universe. I am part of the course correction the universe needs when harm is being done, when the balance is off, when it needs to be reset. I am not just going to wait for the hand of justice, for the hand of karma to come down and handle it. Guess what? Maybe we're that hand. The moral arc of justice is only going to bend towards good things if we fucking put our backs into it and bend it. Who's supposed to do it? Who are we waiting for? What are you waiting for? There are strange fruits in the poplar trees, yet again. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. People like me are getting lynched. Right now, 2026, in ever-increasing numbers. And y'all are still arguing about whether or not you should either fight or cut off your ultra-racist, homophobic family members who you've been working on for decades and who have not changed. And who, in fact, have actually dragged you a little bit more towards them in some ways. Gotten you to be quiet on things that matter. That's spiritual death. That's spiritual death. As the saying goes, we die when we don't stand up for the things that matter to us spiritually on a deep level. And yes, there are some times, some days where you don't have the time, you don't have the spoons. It's not the situation. It's not safe to do so. But guess what? In everyday life, in your purchases, in your speaking, in who you are willing to spend time with, in how you approach the world, there's something you can do, always. Life is the closed fist and the open hand. And we've been using a little bit too much of that open hand. We've been turning the other cheek and getting slapped left and right. So, to George Zimmerman, whatever he's facing, good. I hope it sucks. I hope it gets worse for you. You are unrepentant. You deserve only the worst this life has to offer anyone. And guess what? The same goes for Biden. And if you think that's controversial, you need to do a little soul searching and thinking about what harm actually looks like on a civilizational level, on a global scale, right? You are not being good if you are being kind to those who make it harder for tolerance and kindness and goodness to exist in this world. Gotta toughen up, babes. We simply have got to toughen up. And now, for our next segment. Maybe you can't judge people by our times, but you can definitely judge them by their own times. Like, sure, in the 1800s, there were enslavers, but there were also abolitionists. Like, in hard times, there are always reactionaries and revolutionaries. Choose wisely.
Okay, let's get into this upcoming solar eclipse. It's happening on Wednesday, August 12th at 10:37 a.m. Pacific time, with the sun and moon coming together at 20 degrees of Leo. Not too far from the South Lunar Node, which recently retrograded into Leo, triggering this new moon eclipse in the first place. And with the South Node in Leo, that means, of course, that the North Node is in the opposite sign of Aquarius now, which means that collectively we're releasing the baggage of Leo and reaching for the highest potentials of Aquarius. Now, eclipses are always tumultuous times, and in this case, speaking from the context that I'm in here in the US, I think this is about releasing the hyper-individualism of our culture. The focus on ego, toxic pride, arrogance, dominating and being above everyone and everything else. With the nodal axis now in Leo and Aquarius, we're fully renegotiating individuality in the context of groups, communities, societies, humanity. And with billionaires and their pet politicians trying to fully take over and destroy the world, establish a surveillance state, continue murder and war and genocide, more and more people are realizing that we really need to come together in our collective people power to fight against them and stop them. And we need to rely on each other, on our relationships and neighbors and communities, because we're not going to be able to survive these catastrophes alone, especially as all these fragile systems and infrastructures are collapsing around us. With Pluto currently in Aquarius, the sign opposite to Leo where the eclipse is, it's dredging up all the poison at the core of this country, especially because the US recently went through its Pluto return, which, remember, coincides with the average lifespan of an empire. With Jupiter now in Leo, it's expanding both the good and the bad sides of that sign. And with the South Node now in Leo as well, it's ready to drain all that poison out of the expanded hole, if you will. Leo is a sign associated with the present moment, as well as with leadership and authority and hierarchy, which is, in our case, still very much rooted in the past. And not only because most of our leaders are geriatric. But Aquarius is the sign of the future, of humanitarian progress, of rebellion and revolution. So we'll see what happens during this eclipse. And remember that this new moon and this whole lunar cycle is not a time for manifesting, magic, ritual, spell work, intention setting, none of that. It's just about being as fully present as we can with the vast and powerful cosmic forces at work in the collective and inside ourselves.
You make me confused? I got you. If you're a man and you find me attractive, you're gay! No, the horror! If you're a woman that also finds me attractive, you're gay! I'm so sorry to disappoint y'all.
You know it and you love it. It is time to start our first installment in season 2 of Lara Listens, my weekly delve into my vinyl collection, because why? You know why, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Because it is so important to have physical media. Media that you can keep and hold and have and cannot be taken away if the lights go out, or if the streaming service goes down, or they just decide that you can't have it, right? There's a literal Fahrenheit, well, a metaphorical Fahrenheit 451 going on, of books, of music, of movies, of different kinds of media. It could disappear at any moment, darlings. So you should have some of your own. Starting with, this is Bivouac by Jawbreaker. Now, you may not know Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker is, they are right where post-hardcore and emo meet. It's like the early 90s-ish. This is from 1991, 1992. Jawbreaker is a great band with some really poignant writing. The lead singer is maybe a little bit obsessive, and I think a little bit is kind of an understatement, but really writes beautifully and poignantly, and tells some great stories. The song on this one, Chesterfield King, he tells a story that simply has to have happened based on the detail that he gives and the way that he, goes into describing the moments in it. He talks about, hanging out with someone and they're like, suddenly the laughter died. We were caught in an eye to eye. We sat on the floor and did we sit close? I could smell your thoughts and thought, do you want to touch a lot like me? Too scared to say a thing. And it's so relatable. I mean, I certainly hope you've had that kind of moment in your life that is just so filled with that delicious tension, the will they or won't they? They're definitely gonna, but maybe not right now. Maybe now, maybe not right now. Just the storytelling is so beautiful. The drumming, amazing. The guitar riffs are great. And this was so also Jawbreaker, Blake Schwarzenbach, I think is the name of the lead singer. In the earlier albums, of which this is one, I would consider this one. I think it switches over at Dear You is, I'm not sure if the next album or the one after this, but anyway, the way that he sings changes, I think, because as a singer who used to sing with that like really gritty, gravelly, like basically damaging your throat, let's be real honest, and he had to switch over into singing more melodically, and that sounds great too. And then he did another band called Jets to Brazil, which was also great. But anyway, check this album out. I want to show you also, of course, show you the back here and the inside sleeve liner there. And this one happens to have an ultra cunty yellow disc. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That is Bivouac by Jawbreaker, darlings. Get into it. And next, we have Camp by Childish Gambino. Now look. Childish Gambino is problematic in a lot of ways. I don't know anything about him politically, and I think it's probably not good because I haven't heard shit from him. And honestly, if you haven't heard from somebody at this point politically, that says a lot of bad stuff. Right, like let's be real. However, there is some moments in this that are really, really fantastic, and it's called Camp. And as you can see, the kind of the picture of just like a camp scene in the forest. And it's there's got stories of him at camp, and it's just got that vibe to it. And the names of the songs, Outside, Firefly, Bonfire, All the Shine, Let Her Home. All keep that same theme. And listen, the bars are eating, okay? Like, and since he is a rapper and he talks about this a lot, there is, and it's something that this album actually helped me a lot get over my feeling that like, well, here's the thing. We grew up in a time where hip hop or rap was dominated by, at least in the mainstream, by like super hard, like gangster rap, etc. And like that wasn't my experience, like I've always been way too femi, chill, nerdy, etc. for all that, right? So that wasn't, and so even for me, I thought that like hip hop wasn't necessarily for me, right? Which I think is intentional, like let's be honest. But that's something that he talks about. You know, he's got a bar. Again, I don't want to catch any of you white folks saying this, but he says, that well-spoken token who ain't been heard, the only white rapper who's allowed to say the N-word, speaking about himself because of his experience growing up as a black person who air quotes talks white. There is, I'm going to be real honest, a lot of misogyny in this album. A lot of misogyny in this. It is. And actually, I was going to even do a different rap album. And then I realized that like the misogyny in that one, even though it's a classic, I'm still wrestling with how to present something that I think is so damaging and harmful, but also so important. Right. But anyway, my experience as a human. And there's a lot of stuff he talks about in this album that is just so relatable to, I think, a whole lot of black folks. You know, the blurs, especially blurs being black nerds, which is a very broad term. But like, and here's the thing, whatever people say, I think most black folks are blurs because all of us are blurs in some way. There is some fandom that everybody likes. There is something, whether it's a musician, a band, a sports team, something about which you get gleeful and will rattle off, you know, something that you love about it, right? Being nerdy, I think, is just a part of being human, honestly. And it's so weird that actually not weird at all. Now that I think about it, it's not weird. It is part of the anti-intellectualism of this country that is just inborn, right? So like, obviously being happy, excited, intellectual, interested in something is going to be looked at in a negative light. So that is what that is, right? But anyway, let's take a look at the back here. Yes. And also the inside. And yeah, here he is at camp. Really, really lovely. It's a 3-way fold. Let's see if I can get it all in there. Yeah, there we go. There's just so many great bars. I mean, I know it basically mostly backwards and forwards, but I'm not going to be reciting all of them for you. Just listen to it, right? Get into it, loves. Get into it. And now for our next segment.
Hey, Worm, what'd you learn? I learned that the nuclear family is the base unit of capitalism. It is the very block that is built bit by bit to build the American dream, which is a giant pyramid scheme. The fable goes, man is king of his castle. His wife is his queen. They have a prince and a princess. The prince, cunning, daring, heart-stealing. The princess, virginal and locked up. Every deviation of this, of course, spelled away with your politic class approved Dosny variant of the prince or princess stealing away a pauper to make them a prince or a princess. America, foundationally, intrinsically, supports this, promotes this, brutally enforces this. Family values are red, white, and blue because that's the myth that they want you to hold true. See, with this, the rich get to enslave a massive portion of the population, women and children, by making them obedient and docile and in servitude to the man, which of course is the populace that's easily controlled.
Wait, your vest is a
You
little
give the bored boys some toys, and they'll queue up in line, waiting patiently to kiss the ring, because maybe they'll get a chance to wear the crown. And so it goes that, oh, what a sad dad, what a sad day dad had, poor, sad dad. But of course, because this king slaves away for his miniature kingdom, he gets to rape the spoils. And of course, the queen obliges because she's safe in her porcelain floors, alabaster sun-soaked tiles, vintage chic couture, all while the gates are pulled way, way up. Because baby, we're safe. Safe at last. The patriarchal lineage of wealth is why we have the debtor and creditor system. The rich only exist because we allow them. A cop will brutally protect the rich because they were told to do so. Wow. All because the administrative, bureaucratic nonsense nightmare of inheritance. One day, you'll wear that crown too, brother. One day. Paperwork guarantees by enforcement of gun. Resources for someone based solely on birth lottery. The day you were born, countless others were born that day too. Many of them are already dead. Because of the illusion of capital, you are where you are right now because of the pedigree of your mother's womb. Yikes! So we say abolish the family, because every man for himself is clearly bullshit. It could just as easily be everybody dance now. So reject your dad, reject thy father, embrace the daddies. Abolish the family is about love. It's about having the relationships that you want, that you need. It's to suggest that family doesn't equal friendship by default. So if mommy is your friend, keep being friends with mommy. But if Uncle Tony has found some racist bullshit, cut that out. And if it was father knows best, then it's time to depetrify yourself and cut that out.
Wow! Where'd you learn that?
Oh, this really cool book, Abolish the Family.
And that, darlings, brings us to the end of Season 2, Episode 1 of the Focused on Infinity Hour, more or less. I'm so happy that you've returned to be with us. We're going to keep doing more for you, and we're going to keep making things exciting. And I'm going to be sharing some more realness, some more depth, and just getting more creative with it. I want to thank you on behalf of all of the people who make this show possible. Our wise and wonderful Worm, didn't you love that little new vibe today? And our Alice, our weather report, our astrological weather report human, Alice Pope. And of course, my partner in crime and partner in general, without whom none of this would be possible. The amazing Mistrix. Thank you again so much for being here. Please do remember to like, subscribe, support the show, tell people about it. And if you have some talents, some gifts, if you know people who I would maybe interview, who are doing great things, who are doing things to change the world, to make it better, send them our way, right? Because we want to highlight not only ourselves, but you. The goal of the show, remember, is not just to have fun, but to be part of what changes the world and how we do things, right? Nothing changes unless we change. And that includes art and entertainment and news and information and all of that as well. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. See you next time.